So today we're going to talk about the importance of eKYC technology for FIs amidst the pandemic that we are in. So this is part of the Reimagining Digital Identity after COVID-19 for FI 3.0. This is a series of lectures that Group Futurista is doing for us. So why are we doing this? The important question that we start is why? For the FIs, I will take you back. I will take 12 years before, right from the credit crisis, the financial crisis of 2008, 2009. The financial institutions has been under tremendous pressure. Pretty much the financial services business is now commodity, is like a commodity. All the banks, all the financial institutions are vying for the same pie. The customers have a lot of competition. The customers are used to a lot of competition, so they can easily match one FI vis-a-vis the other. So there is a huge pressure on margins, the profit margins for the FIs. And amidst all of this, we would know the financial crisis also threw a swath of regulations at the financial institutions. So what has happened is when you throw regulations at the financial institution, normally it responds with employing an army of people to understand the regulation and to implement it. Thereby, we see very large, unwieldy, inefficient compliance departments, and they are involved with doing meaningless, what I call as busy work. So essentially, same old repetitive manual tasks that the regulation asks the financial institutions to comply, they pretty much do the same day in and day out. So you would know that any increased headcount means additional cost for the bank. So the FIs are endeavoring to save the costs, and they want to essentially want their employees to focus on more complex investigative tasks rather than just doing manual repetitive ones. And also FIs, traditionally, the traditional FIs, they have run departments as silos. So there are huge departments. So I worked with a few, the Swiss investment banks, UBS, Credit Suisse, Deutsche Bank. I worked in all of these banks, and I can say how big some of the silos are. All of the departments, whether it is the fixed income or whether it is the investment banking division or the wealth management division, all of them have their own systems for KYC. They would not talk to each other. They would run like silos. This was like this. I'm talking about like 10 years before. Now they all become smarter. And essentially they want to eliminate the silos, thereby making it work more cohesively in an integrated fashion. And moreover, as I said earlier, it's all commodity business now. So in order to improve the client experience, it's going to be a differentiator for them in terms of attracting the right customer as their target segment. So how do they achieve this? So we are living in a world of automation. They're calling it Industrial Revolution 4.0. So increasingly, we are seeing a swath of new technologies like robotics process automation. There is a more emphasis on having integrated solutions. There is emphasis on using some of the algorithms that artificial intelligence provides, as also establishing a more automated front-to-back systems across lines of business, across geographies, across the various KYC rules introduced by various jurisdictions, whether it is the United States, Europe, Asia Pacific. Again, in Asia Pacific, we know each of these countries have some of very different rule sets, whether it is the MAS of Singapore or the Australian regulator. They all, or the Hong Kong regulator, they all have different rule sets. So it's very important that you have a level of automation which will make you comply to various jurisdictions. And of course, we know about the channels, the products, the kind of products. Increasingly, banks and financial institutions are offering various products, and all these products are being serviced through various channels, whether it is the web through the desktop or mobile, or through the traditional lines of channels. So complexity is all the more, and it is very, very important that you use some of the latest automation techniques to provide solutions to your customers. Now, just going a bit deeper into how to unpack the eKYC and CLM. KYC, as we know, is know your customer. CLM is client lifecycle management. So if you see the KYC journey of a particular customer, there are three distinct stages, right? We have onboarding. This is when the customers are introduced to the financial institution. And then the second phase is monitoring. Once the customer becomes, once you onboard the customer, then you have a requirement to continuously monitor the various financial transactions, as also the risk appetite, and also the continued performance of that particular customer. And finally, when the customer decides to sever the relationship with you, you have to continue, you have to offboard as well. So we'll look into individually into all of these three stages with respect to eKYC. So now I'll just take you through this chart, through this various segments within the eKYC cycle. So when we speak about onboarding, we have, let's say the customer puts in an application to become your customer. So you will have a specific rule set, which will decide whether you want to take this customer or not. So the rule set would decide whether you would accept the application or deny the application. And after that stage, you will have a customer due diligence, CDD processes in place, where depending upon the risk appetite, depending upon your individual rule set that you have, whether you can take this customer or not, you will either accept or deny the application. So that's the onboarding stage. Now, during onboarding, you would also have graph algorithms where you will run the customer's name and the other entity relationship. If it is a corporate customer, you will run that particular names against either the OFAC list, which is Office of Foreign Asset Control from the United States, or various anti-money laundering lists that you have to comply with in various jurisdictions, and ensure that the customer name doesn't get caught up in any of this. Also, we have other sanctions lists, PEP lists, which is politically exposed person. You will run that name against all of those lists. So instead of having, I remember I was part of a Citigroup team in early 2000, where we used to have 5 or 6 Excel sheets where we will run a check with the name, with different components of the name against this Excel list. Nowadays, the rule sets that you have can be easily written into either an algorithm or a database against which you can do a simple check in a matter of seconds. And in fact, you can write a rule set and make it fully automated as well. So you don't need a person to sit and do these checks for you. So that's the onboarding stage. Second is the monitoring stage. In monitoring, we have, again, a number of activities that we do. Once an account has been created, then we have to do a continual monitoring of the customer's transactions. If the customer changes his details, his or her details, then you have to continuously upgrade them. And then you have to do a periodic review of the accounting of the transactions, of the customer's transactions as well. And depending upon each of these checks that you do, each of the monitoring that you do, there will be decisions to be arrived at, whether you have to continue the relationship or whether you have to block temporarily or whether you have to close the account. So as is highlighted here, you will continuously keep a check on the customer's transactions, the customer's behavior against your standard monitoring checks. And then the last bit is the offloading element. By offboarding, by offboarding, I mean the customer decides to sever the relationship with you. Then you have to process the closure request, ensure that all of the accounts are deleted. Of course, you have to comply with the standard data storage, data retention policies that is there in the jurisdiction. For example, in UK and European Union, you would have to maintain the customer records for 7 years. So you have to ensure that you maintain the customer records even after the customer severes a relationship with you. And indeed, GDPR, the European regulation, privacy regulation, has mandated if the customer wants to port his data to another provider, you have to ensure that you have to provide that customer data, the customer transactions to another provider in a format that the customer wants. And it is your obligation to ensure that you satisfy the request within 30 calendar days. So there's a number of requirements that you need to comply with respect to the eKYC. Moving on, I'll just quickly, I'm just conscious of the time. Got 5 more minutes, and then we'll open up for questions. So when it comes to the automation, as I mentioned earlier, there are three specific initiatives that I am going to talk about: robotics, integrated servicing, and artificial intelligence. In robotics, we would know that we have techniques like screen scraping, especially if the customer has given you application, then you have OCR techniques, optical character recognition techniques, where you can efficiently read the application through the OCR techniques, through screen scraping, to record the transaction. And then we can use macros, we can use recording functionality. If the customer submits the application, reads the application, we have not seen this happen, but in the future, if a customer can submit the application by giving the details via voice, then you will have techniques to record that voice and process the transaction. Increasingly, we would know that we have to integrate the underlying case management with some of the rule sets that robotics brings about as well, so that we will have an overall control. The next one is the integrations. So the eKYC tool, whether you are going to build it or you're going to buy it off the shelf from a third party, you need to have various integrations with other systems and applications. So you need to have APIs increasingly, so that you can integrate your existing applications with any new applications that you are bringing in. And these applications, these APIs, application programming interfaces, should be context aware and event driven. And that's the beauty about these APIs. They're easy to plug and play. They're easy to write. If the rule sets are changing, they're easy to change. So it is very important that you have such a flexibility to incorporate these APIs into your overall KYC architecture. And increasingly, you need to employ AI and the rule sets to drive the desired outcomes. And when it comes to artificial intelligence, we know a number of machine learning tools are available which can easily change the static automation that you are building into a dynamic automation. What do I mean by that? So machine learning tools are intelligent in that it can read the behavior of the transactions that are coming in. It can read the kind of profiling that you want to do on your customers, and intelligently map out these rule sets to process them in the future. But since we are operating in a very regulated environment, we should ensure that we have adequate controls through specific rule setting and setting the right boundaries for not only for compliance purposes, but also for control and analytics purposes. So that's all I had. I just kept the time as well. It's 20 past. Thank you for your attention, and we can open up for questions.